let's turn our attention over to tech. The Futurum Group released the first of its kind study focusing on AI applications in the data center segment. We want some details, so let's welcome in our next guest. Lisa Martin is with us, research analyst at the Futurum Group. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being here. We want to hear a little bit more about the study, how it came about, what were some of the takeaways.
Yeah, Nicole, great to be back on with you. Great to see you. Great research announced yesterday from Futurum Intelligence that was really looking at a lot of the AI chip makers across CPUs, GPUs, XPUs, et cetera. And really what the data demonstrate across these organizations is that global data center investments are absolutely on the rise. New growth drivers in AI inferencing chip market set to grow exponentially this year in the next 4 years. For example, the data show the AI data center chip market set is expected to go from $38 billion in 2024 to $138 billion in 4 years. Not surprisingly, Nvidia dominates the GPU, the graphics processing unit market, with 92% share, contributing to a sector, the GPU sector, that's also poised to grow to $102 billion by 2028. What we also saw, though, it's not just GPUs, which are obviously pivotal for AI workloads, it's CPUs as well. And some of the biggest buyers and consumers of this AI chip technology are hyperscale providers, AWS, Oracle, like you just mentioned in the last segment, Microsoft, Google, for example. So what we're seeing is growing competition. Yesterday's news, not just from Futurum, but also from AMD. You talked about it on the Mega Cap Tech segment yesterday with your guests. ZT Systems going to be acquired by AMD. Will it move the needle? We think so. But we also know that while it may move the needle, it'll take time, and we know that Nvidia isn't slowing down. We're also seeing growth in other sectors besides IT and telecom in terms of consuming those AI chipsets. We're seeing growth in financial services and insurance, as well as healthcare. So some great use cases, great new use cases there.
Yeah, I think it's great that you brought in some of the other sectors that are now using AI, such as healthcare, such as financial services and insurance. I mean, it's pretty much moving into everything. If you have a company that won't be using AI in 5 years, you're probably left behind, right? I mean, we started talking about ChatGPT last November, right? More than a year ago, November. And now here we are, right?
Yeah, a tremendous amount of growth and opportunities, but there's also growing competition. We know the Nvidias, the AMDs, the ARMs are really seeing significant revenue growth, but there is exciting competition in the market, really expected to intensify as new entrants, startups really are aiming to capture some of that market share. And really, ultimately, what we all benefit from is continued innovation. And one of the companies that is one to watch that I wanted to mention, Nicole, to you and your viewers, is a competitor to Nvidia for sure. It's called Grok with a Q. And the Q is important. It's a company that was founded by some former Google employees. In fact, their CEO was one of the designers of the Google Tensor Processing Unit, or TPU. They don't consider themselves a startup, but about 8 months ago, I had a chance to sit down with their CEO. And Grok was flying so low under the radar that what was newsworthy was the CEO actually sent, kind of cheeky, a sarcastic but cease and desist letter to Elon Musk complaining about xAI's Grok with a K. Fast forward to 8 months later, and Grok has just received a great influx of cash, $640 million. This is just this summer, a valuation of $2.8 billion. And they are prepared to take on Nvidia. So what we're going to see from companies like Grok is pushing the Nvidias, the AMDs, the ARMs to get better. Ultimately, hopefully, we all win.
Yeah, I'm glad you're mentioning some names too. One thing we left out was telecom. Another, you talk about IT and telecom, right? That's another area using all of this.
Absolutely. Telecom is one of the leading industries in addition with IT. The Futurum Intelligence research showed. So we're seeing a lot of growth there, a lot of explosion of 5G, a lot of AI use cases in the telecom industry that we all expect, because we expect as consumers, as business leaders, to be connected 24/7. And the AI chipsets going into the telecom sector are clearly going to be able to support that pretty well.
Yeah, and so when we think about all the AI type of names, you're mentioning data center. I mean, I always think of the Nvidias and things like that. The big name some names. And when you think about the leaders or the ones that have the big moat, what names sort of come up in conversations? I mean, not necessarily stock picks, but I mean, in your mind, as you do these studies, what names are clearly leaders?
Grok is becoming a leader, one of the ones that I just talked about. We're seeing Cerebras as well,
Yeah.
who are really innovating pretty quickly, which is exciting. I don't know who's more excited, your dog at the beach, my dog at the beach, or all of us with respect to what this competition is fueling. But another area that's really interesting right now, Nicole, from an AI perspective is AI as a service companies. You talked about ChatGPT. OpenAI, we can't talk about AI as a service without talking about OpenAI and ChatGPT. It burst onto the scene about 20 months or so ago. I look at it as the catalyst for this generative AI market that's maturing pretty well. One of the things that ChatGPT just released was its current version, which is called ChatGPT 4.0 latest. They also did something interesting this summer, Nicole, and that is the release of a prototype of Search GPT. Their CEO, Sam Altman, said, hey, we think there's room to make search, much better. So a little pressure on Google. It's a closed now prototype of 10,000 people. I didn't make the cut, it's kind of bummed. But it's going to be interesting to see how OpenAI challenges Google from a search perspective, because we know Google is default. It's a verb. We've all been using it for many, many years. So changing behavior habits is challenging, but OpenAI is poised to do that. Another one that I would mention from an AI as a service perspective is Anthropic. Their chat bot is called Claude. They released some new features this week. They were only founded in 2021, so it's an up-and-comer. It's quickly moving. They just got an infusion of $2.75 billion from Amazon. They're growing globally. They're working with leaders like Google Cloud to bring AI capabilities to Africa, for example. And they're widely considered a strong rival of ChatGPT. You can both get ChatGPT and Claude on Android and iOS. So they're quickly becoming competitors that are really pushing each other to innovate.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Anthropic. I met the CEO in the elevator here at the New York Stock Exchange one day, and when he said Anthropic, I'm like, oh my goodness, Anthropic! Like, you know how huge it is if you're studying AI, and so we had a great conversation. So anyhow, it's great to see you. I know you were talking about American Express incorporating more AI, but cautiously with executives, with human oversight. But this is what all companies, I guess, need to do in order to stay in the game. It's great to see you, Lisa Martin of the Futurum Group. Thank you very much.